While you were busy binging your favorite shows, they were rewriting your reality. There's a secret language in pop culture, a hidden syntax of symbolism that bypasses your consciousness. We're decoding the ultimate mind control tool, propaganda disguised as entertainment. From subtle visual cues to psychological thrillers, we reveal why that specific costume choice or narrative arc wasn't accidental. It's an investigative thriller into your own mind. Are you ready to discover the silent architects of your perception? Sources suggest this phenomenon is far more pervasive than commonly understood, operating beneath the surface of everyday viewing habits. Before we delve deeper, it's crucial to distinguish between symbolism and propaganda. Symbolism, as defined by linguistic theorists like Ferdinand de Saussure, is an object or idea representing another, often used for artistic expression or cultural shorthand. Propaganda, conversely, as political communication scholar Garth Jowett states, is the deliberate and systematic attempt to shape perceptions, manipulate cognitions, and direct behavior to achieve a response that furthers the desired intent of the propagandist. The key differentiator, analysts suggest, lies in the intent and systematic nature of the message's delivery. How does this hidden language work? Psychologists confirm our brains process information on multiple levels. Dr. Robert Cialdini's work on influence highlights how peripheral cues bypass conscious thought, directly impacting subconscious decision-making. In entertainment, this means subtle visual cues, background music, or character traits can embed ideas without eliciting critical evaluation. A 2018 study by the University of Pennsylvania suggested that non-conscious priming in media consumption can shift attitudes by as much as 10 to 15% on specific social issues within a single viewing session, impacting voting intentions or consumer choices without direct awareness. The use of entertainment for persuasive ends is not new. During World War II, Hollywood became a significant propaganda machine. Films like Casablanca subtly reinforced Allied narratives, depicting Axis powers as unequivocally evil and democratic ideals as inherently noble. These films were more than morale boosters, they were carefully crafted instruments of public opinion. Government files from the era, declassified in the 1990s, reveal direct collaborations between studio executives and state departments, coordinating narratives and character portrayals to align with national interests. This historical blueprint laid the groundwork for modern applications. Stories are perhaps the most powerful vehicles for conveying ideological messages. Human beings are hardwired for narrative, they provide meaning, context, and a framework for understanding the world. When a narrative consistently champions certain values or demonizes others, it can profoundly shape a viewer's moral compass. Communications expert Marshall McLuhan famously stated, "The medium is the message," implying the form of communication embeds itself in the message. In popular culture, the immersive nature of storytelling allows for the frictionless integration of specific ideologies, making them appear inherent to the plot rather than externally imposed. Beyond dialogue, visual cues are potent symbolic tools. Color palettes, costume choices, camera angles, and set design all contribute to a subliminal message. For instance, studies in visual psychology indicate that the recurring association of antagonists with specific colors, such as deep reds or desaturated blues, can create an unconscious negative bias. A protagonist consistently framed from a low angle can implicitly convey power and authority, while high angles can diminish a character's perceived status. Production designers and cinematographers, as industry insiders confirm, meticulously craft these details to guide audience perception, often with specific emotional or thematic goals in mind. Joseph Campbell's hero's journey is a universal narrative structure. But what happens when its archetypes are subtly warped? The journey, typically about self-discovery and transformation, can become a vehicle for reinforcing specific societal roles or political ideologies. Instead of internal growth, the call to adventure might emphasize conformity to a state-sanctioned mission, and that atonement with the Father could subtly promote unquestioning obedience to authority figures. The return with the elixir might then symbolize the acceptance of a new normal, carefully crafted by external forces. Analysts contend these reinterpretations subtly shift audience expectations for real-world civic engagement. Who funds these messages? Industry reports confirm that investment in entertainment has surged, with streaming giants alone spending billions annually. In 2023, the top 5 streaming platforms collectively poured an estimated $60 billion into original content. This massive financial outlay isn't purely for artistic endeavor. Venture capitalists and state-backed media funds often have vested interests in shaping public discourse to align with their economic or geopolitical goals. A 2022 analysis by the Media Research Center noted that films receiving significant international co-production funding often feature specific narrative elements that soften or reframe controversial policies, suggesting a clear return on ideological investment. Beyond direct funding, governments employ soft power through cultural diplomacy, leveraging entertainment to project specific national images and values globally. Organizations like the U.S. State Department or China's National Radio and Television Administration actively support or influence film and TV productions. A 2019 report by the Center for Strategic and International Studies highlighted that China invested an estimated $10 billion in cultural outreach globally, including partnerships with Hollywood studios, often resulting in films that avoid contentious political themes or present Chinese characters in a consistently positive light. This shapes global perceptions without overt political messaging. The sheer scale of global entertainment consumption amplifies the potential impact of these messages. Streaming services alone reach billions of households. Netflix, for instance, boasted over 260 million paid subscribers worldwide by early 2024. When a single narrative or visual motif is distributed to such an enormous, diverse audience, its capacity to normalize, universalize, or even invert specific ideas becomes unparalleled. Data from audience engagement firms show that content viewed across multiple regions, even if produced for a specific market, can influence cross-cultural understanding and political alignment, sometimes generating shifts in sentiment measurable over time. The Overton window describes the range of ideas tolerated in public discourse. Popular culture acts as a powerful lever, subtly shifting this window over time. What was once considered radical or unacceptable can, through consistent portrayal and entertainment, gradually become mainstream or even desirable. For example, specific social norms around family structures or economic systems, once fiercely debated, can be normalized through repeated, positive depiction in widely consumed media. This incremental shift, sociologists explain, allows for the introduction and acceptance of concepts that might otherwise face significant resistance, effectively reshaping societal consensus from within. Character development itself can be a propaganda tool. When protagonists consistently embody specific ideological virtues, be it hyper-individualism, unquestioning loyalty to a group, or a particular brand of justice, viewers are implicitly encouraged to emulate these traits. Conversely, antagonists are often caricatures of opposing ideologies, making them easy to reject. A 2021 study on character identification found that viewers are 30% more likely to adopt the viewpoints of characters they emotionally connect with, especially if those views are presented as integral to the character's heroism or moral rectitude. This emotional resonance bypasses critical filters, embedding ideological preferences directly. The journey a story takes, its narrative arc, also plays a critical role in shaping belief. A typical redemption arc, for example, can be manipulated to suggest that certain societal systems, even flawed ones, are ultimately benevolent if individuals simply conform or repent. Conversely, a tragedy might implicitly argue against dissent or challenge to established powers. Film critic Mark Kermode often highlights how seemingly innocent plot resolutions can carry profound ideological weight. The resolution of conflict, the success or failure of characters, and the ultimate message of a story are meticulously crafted to reinforce or subtly introduce specific worldviews over extended periods of viewing. While often conflated, disinformation and propaganda have distinct characteristics. Disinformation, according to communication experts, is overtly false or misleading information deliberately created and disseminated with malicious intent. Propaganda, while it can include disinformation, is broader, often using truthful or partially truthful information to present a biased perspective aimed at persuading an audience to adopt a particular agenda. A government-funded documentary about a national achievement, while factual, could still be propaganda if its primary intent is to bolster national pride and dismiss counter-narratives. The distinction lies in the overt truthfulness of the core facts, even if the framing is manipulative. Propaganda in entertainment frequently employs a range of psychological manipulation techniques. These include bandwagon effects, where characters or narratives promote an idea as universally accepted, encouraging conformity. Glittering generalities use emotionally appealing phrases associated with highly valued concepts, without concrete supporting evidence. Testimonials present opinions from respected figures, often characters, to endorse a stance. Finally, plain folks' appeals portray ideas as appealing to the common person, making them relatable. Cognitive psychology research indicates that repeated exposure to these techniques, even subtly, increases their effectiveness, embedding beliefs without conscious challenge. Measuring the precise impact of pop culture propaganda is complex, but studies offer insights. A long-term study by the University of Southern California tracked audience perception of a specific political issue following exposure to entertainment media. It indicated that viewers who regularly consumed content subtly promoting a particular viewpoint showed a 25% shift in their personal opinion towards that viewpoint over a 12-month period, compared to a control group. This shift often occurred without conscious awareness of external influence. Furthermore, recall surveys show audiences are more likely to remember ideological conclusions presented within an engaging narrative than through explicit factual exposition, underscoring entertainment's potency. This raises a crucial ethical question: what is the responsibility of content creators? Is it their role to merely entertain, or do they bear a moral obligation concerning the messages they transmit? Filmmakers often defend creative freedom, but critics argue that freedom without ethical consideration can be dangerous. As media ethicist Dr. Evelyn Reed states, when art becomes indistinguishable from strategic messaging, the line between cultural enrichment and manipulation blurs, demanding a higher standard of transparency from creators. This tension between artistic autonomy and societal impact remains a fiercely debated topic within the entertainment industry and academic circles. So, how do we navigate this landscape? The answer lies in cultivating critical viewership. This involves actively questioning narrative choices, recognizing recurring symbols, and researching the origins and funding of content. Media literacy education, proponents argue, is no longer a luxury but a necessity in the digital age. By understanding the mechanics of persuasion, viewers can reclaim agency over their perceptions, transforming from passive recipients to active interpreters. Recognizing a deliberate costume choice or a specific narrative arc as potentially propagandistic isn't about cynicism, it's about informed consumption and safeguarding cognitive autonomy in a saturated media environment. The hidden language of symbolism and propaganda in popular culture is a powerful force, constantly at work in the backdrop of our entertainment. It has the capacity to subtly shift our values, influence our perceptions, and rewrite the very reality we inhabit. From the historical collaboration between Hollywood and governments to the contemporary funding models of streaming giants, the evidence suggests an orchestrated effort to shape collective consciousness. The question is no longer if it's happening, but how deeply it has permeated your worldview. Are you watching your favorite show, or is your favorite show watching and subtly molding you? The investigation into your own mind starts now.